Ever get that feeling, like a little whisper nudge pulling you towards something? Or maybe you just looked at your birth date and wondered if it meant something more, like just for you.
It is something a lot of people feel, that connection to something bigger. And in Buddhist philosophy, when you're born, it's not just random. It's like super interesting how it connects with these cosmic energies that give you insights into like your whole life's journey.
Totally. We're going to really explore this idea that your birth date is like this energy signature, almost like a blueprint. Think about it. What if the day you were born actually had clues about your strengths, like the things you're good at, or the tough stuff you might face, and even your personality?
Yeah, and it's not just airy-fairy ideas either. Buddhist wisdom gives you like actual ways to understand and work with this connection. It's all about seeing how everything is like deeply connected.
Exactly. To really get this, let's talk about some basic Buddhist ideas. You've probably heard about karma, the whole cause and effect thing. Then there's dharma, your own unique path and purpose in life. And samsara, which is the continuous cycle of existence driven by what we do and what we're attached to. Understanding this cycle helps us get why one single moment within it, like your birth, is so important.
Exactly. These aren't just theories, though. They're the foundation for this Buddhist idea that when you came into the world at that exact moment, it had deep meaning, reflecting like everything you've done before and the potential you have to grow in the future.
So today we're diving into this very thing, this idea that your birth date, according to Buddhist wisdom, is kind of like a cosmic imprint. It gives us subtle but powerful clues about who you truly are and who you can become. So can we break down this cosmic imprint idea a little more?
Sure. What's really cool is this Buddhist idea that your birth isn't random, It's actually like totally in sync with these massive cosmic rhythms, kind of like nature all around us. Like imagine planting a seed at just the right time with all the good stuff it needs to grow, it'll thrive, right? Well, it's the same with your birth. They believe it happens when all these universal energies are in this like specific setup that totally aligns with your soul's journey as it unfolds.
That makes so much sense. And the source material we have here uses a cool analogy. It's like the moon's influence on the tides. I
Yeah.
just get that, right?
Yeah.
That connection. So it's not so hard to imagine that other cosmic forces could be at work too when we take our first breath.
Yeah, for sure. And some traditions in Buddhism go even deeper, exploring the influence of the elements, like earth, water, fire, air. And in some of those more advanced philosophies, like Vajrayana, they even have a fifth element. It's often called ether, or sometimes space. It represents like this unlimited potential that everything else comes from. And so the specific way these elements line up when you're born is thought to shape your natural tendencies and even your spiritual leanings.
This is where it gets super interesting to me. Let's dive into those elemental examples a bit.
Yeah.
What's someone like who's born under this strong fire energy influence? What would their nature be like?
Someone like that often has this natural passion. They're driven, courageous, like a real fiery spirit, right?
Yeah.
They might find themselves drawn to leading others, inspiring people with their energy and taking action. But, it's important to remember in Buddhist teachings, fire that's not controlled can turn into attachment and anger. So for them, the path might be about finding that balance, finding wisdom within their intensity.
Wow, that adds another layer to it. Yeah. It's not just a personality trait, but also like an area to grow in.
Yeah.
What about someone whose birth was more connected to water energy?
Oh, they might be super emotionally intelligent, have this wellspring of creativity, and a really strong intuition. Like they can sense the subtle things in life. They could be artists, healers, the people who feel everything deeply, the empaths. Their journey might be about learning to navigate feeling overwhelmed emotionally and finding clarity even when they're super sensitive.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And what about air? What if someone's aligned with air when they're born?
If they're aligned with air, they'll probably have a really sharp mind, be kind of philosophical, and be great at communicating. Their minds are always going, their ideas are new and fresh, and they can explain even complicated things really well. For them, it might be about making sure their intellectual stuff is grounded in practical wisdom and not getting caught up in like overthinking everything.
So they're the thinkers and the communicators, the ones with the ideas.
Right.
Got it. What about Earth then?
People with a strong earth influence are usually super grounded, stable, and unbelievably resilient. They're the builders, the ones who make things happen. And they can achieve success through effort and patience, They just keep going. Their path might be about learning to be flexible and not getting too stuck in one way of doing things.
So it seems like this whole elemental balance thing isn't just about what you're born with, but it's also about where you can learn and grow.
Exactly. Understanding these elements helps you see your strengths, yeah, but it also helps you understand the challenges you might face just because of who you are. It's about going with your natural flow and working with it, not feeling like it boxes you in.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
Yeah.
The Buddhist view also looks at numbers in this spiritual way, and I gotta say, I found this part really interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating to go beyond like just the math of numbers. In Buddhism, especially in Tibetan traditions, numbers have all this spiritual meaning and layered into them. They can even reflect like these underlying karmic patterns.
Okay, can you give us some examples of what you mean by this deeper meaning in numbers?
Absolutely. So the number one often symbolizes unity, like the very beginning of everything, the potential for absolutely anything to unfold. It represents that first spark of existence.
Right, one is like that seed of potential. What about three?
Three usually represents balance. It's that essential harmony between your body, mind, and spirit. That whole integrated state of well-being that's so important in Buddhism.
I like that. It's about our whole being in
Ah.
balance. What about the number 8? I know that's super significant in Buddhism.
Yeah, eight is huge. It often represents unlimited potential, and most importantly, it's deeply tied to the Eightfold Path. That's like the heart of Buddhist teachings, the path that leads to liberation and enlightenment.
Wow, so even these simple numbers have all this spiritual weight to them. The source material even mentions monks meditating on these numerical patterns. What's the purpose of that?
The idea is that by really thinking about these number vibrations, you can get a clearer understanding of the basic energies that make the universe tick. And by understanding those, you can align your own actions with your biggest goals, with your dharma, in a more harmonious way.
That brings up a question that I think a lot of listeners might have too. If our birth date has all this potential and meaning baked into it, why do people with the same birthday often have such different lives? I mean, some are more successful, some are happier. Why is there so much variation?
It's a great question, and it points to how our natural tendencies and what we choose to do with our lives work together. The source material uses this great analogy. Imagine a lamp in a dark room, right? That lamp, that's your potential, what you were born with, based on the energy when you were born. But that lamp can't give off any light. It's useless unless someone turns it on.
So we have the potential, but we have to actually do something to make it shine.
Exactly. Your birth date might give you some strengths and tendencies, but in Buddhist philosophy, they really emphasize that the way your life turns out is shaped by the choices you make, what you do, and what your mind is like. It's your thoughts and intentions that cultivate your inner landscape. So yeah, your cosmic imprint sets the stage, but you're the one on the journey, and you decide how brightly that light inside you shines.
All right, so we get that our birth date might have this hidden power, but how do we actually use it? What can someone listening right now do to start using the wisdom in their birthday?
The first thing you can do, as the source suggests, is figure out what your elemental influence is. Take some quiet time and be honest with yourself. Look at the descriptions of fire, water, air, and earth energies. Which ones feel like you? Do they match your personality, your talents, even the kind of situations you're drawn to, or the ones that are hard for you? Just recognizing these natural tendencies can be super powerful for understanding yourself better.
Like tuning in, realizing what feels true inside you, right? What else can we do?
There's this idea of birth meditation that some Buddhists do. It might sound kind of out there, but the basic idea is something anyone can do. Find a quiet place, close your eyes maybe, and think about when you were born, that moment you entered this life. Ask yourself, why did I come into the world on this specific day? What am I here to learn deep down? What's the purpose of me being here?
That sounds really powerful, like a way to connect with that original energy signature. What's next?
Following your dharma. Remember, your dharma is your unique path, the way of living that's aligned with what you value most and your truest self. Once you get a sense of your birth energy, think about if what you're doing in life matches those natural tendencies. If you feel this strong urge to create, but your life has no art in it, that's something to look at. Or if you're a natural leader, but you keep avoiding responsibility, that's worth exploring. When your life and your dharma are lined up, it brings this deep sense of purpose and fulfillment.
It's about being authentic, living in a way that's true to the wisdom of your birth energy. What's the last practical step?
Cultivating gratitude for being born. In Buddhism, they really emphasize how precious human life is. Your birth, no matter how it happened, is seen as this incredible chance for growth, learning, and spiritual awakening. When you acknowledge this gift and feel grateful for it, you open yourself up to more abundance and good stuff in your life. The source even suggests thinking of your birthday as a yearly chance to reflect and set new intentions.
So it's not just about cake and presents, but about really thinking about your journey and what you're here for. Now, we've talked about how to access this potential, but what gets in the way? What are the things that keep us from achieving our destiny even when we have this birth energy?
It brings us to a core idea in Buddhism ignorance, or VG if you want to get fancy. It's this basic misunderstanding of who we really are, our connection to everything else, and how everything's always changing. It's seen as a major cause of suffering and that feeling of being lost. When our minds are clouded by ignorance, it's tough to see our strengths and the path that's right for us.
It's like having the map, like our birth energy, but not being able to read it because there's so much fog, right? So much misunderstanding.
Exactly. The source material has this beautiful Zen proverb that gets right to the point. You are already everything you need to be. You only need to remove what is not you. It's like a reminder that our true potential, our destiny, it's not out there somewhere, We don't have to chase it. It's already inside us, and it'll show up as we let go of the illusions and stuff we're clinging to that are hiding it. And our birth date can give us clues to uncover that inner knowing.
I love how that flips the script. It's not about adding more, but taking away what's blocking us.
Yeah.
So how do we actually remove what is not us to awaken that birth energy? The source talks about three main principles.
Yep, it's awareness, alignment, and action. Those are the foundations for unlocking your potential and living more in harmony with your Dharma.
Let's start with awareness. How do we get a deeper understanding of our natural strengths, using our birth energy as a guide?
Well, like we've been talking about, think of your birthday as this built-in guide. Awareness is about studying that guide, understanding its key features, what you're naturally good at, what you lean towards, and even the challenges you might face. Practices like mindfulness meditation are really helpful for building this self-awareness. It's about paying attention to what you're experiencing right now without judging it. Noticing your thoughts, your feelings, your patterns. That's how you start to see your natural tendencies.
And the source mentions a simple but powerful exercise. We can all try to build this awareness, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's just 10 minutes of quiet reflection. Find some quiet time and ask yourself, what are my natural strengths, the things that have always been a part of me? Really think about that, and then write down at least 3 qualities that feel like they're truly yours. Those are probably gifts from that unique energy setup you were born with. They're just waiting for you to recognize them and cultivate them.
Simple, but I could see how that would be really eye-opening, okay? So we've got awareness. What about alignment, the second principle?
Alignment is about making sure your outer life matches your inner truth. It's about living in a way that matches your Dharma, that wisdom from your birth energy. Lots of people feel kind of off or dissatisfied because their life doesn't match who they really are. It might be their job, their relationships, where they live. They're constantly trying to be someone they're not, going against their natural flow, and that can drain you and make you feel unfulfilled.
So alignment is about making sure that what we do in the world matches who we are inside, using the insights from our birth energy to guide us.
Right? How do we know if we're out of alignment?
The universe has a way of letting us know. If you're always tired, not really excited about anything, feeling frustrated or uninspired, those could be signs that you're not living in a way that's true to yourself, true to your Dharma. You might be using all your energy on things that don't feed your soul or help you grow.
The source has a quote about this that really stuck with me. Yeah, it says, when you're on the right path, even the hard times feel meaningful. When you're on the wrong path, even success feels empty. It shows how important it is to feel like you're in the right place, more than just getting external validation or achieving things that don't really matter.
It really does. So how do we start getting back in alignment with our true path?
You don't have to make huge changes right away. Realignment often happens through lots of small, conscious choices, day after day, getting closer to your authentic self. If you have that creative birth energy, even giving yourself a little time each day to do something creative can be a big step. If leadership comes naturally to you, look for small ways to take charge or guide others. It can make a difference. It's about consistently honoring those natural tendencies.
Taking small, intentional steps toward our true nature. That makes realignment seem a lot more doable. And then there's action, the third principle.
Right. Action is where your intentions meet reality. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes that it's not enough to just understand things in your head. You have to actually live it through practice, through these mindful daily rituals that strengthen your connection to your true self.
The source gives us some specific Buddhist-inspired rituals we can
Yeah,
try.
exactly. The first one is a morning awareness ritual. It only takes like 5 minutes, but it sets a really powerful tone for the day. When you wake up, before you get caught up in all the stuff you gotta do, put your hand over your heart and silently say to yourself, I am here for a reason. Today, I choose to live with purpose. Then take 3 slow, deep breaths and really feel grateful for the new day and all the possibilities it holds.
I love that. A beautiful way to start the day, feeling grounded and purposeful. What's the second ritual?
The mirror reflection practice. This is where you take a minute each day to look at yourself in the mirror, right in the eyes, and ask, am I honoring the energy of my birth today? Really pay attention to how you feel when you ask that. If you feel any resistance or discomfort, try to understand where that's coming from. Then be kind to yourself. Say something like, I'm here to grow, to learn, and to fulfill my destiny. Doing this helps you be more compassionate with yourself and strengthens the connection with your inner self over time.
It sounds like a powerful way to build self-awareness and acceptance. What's the last ritual?
The Dharma alignment exercise. Once a week, maybe on Sundays, take some time to reflect. Write down one specific thing you can commit to doing that week that will move you closer to your true path, to your Dharma. It could be anything. Starting a new project that excites you, reaching out to someone who inspires you, making time for a hobby that brings you joy. The key is to make a real commitment to do that one thing. When you act consistently, it creates momentum and reinforces that alignment.
So these 3 pillars, awareness, alignment, and action, working together, they can really help us unlock the potential of our birth energy and live a life with more purpose. Now, suffering is a fundamental teaching in Buddhism. How do challenges and difficulties fit into this whole framework of fulfilling our destiny based on our birthday?
That connects directly to the first noble truth, which is recognizing that suffering is just a part of being human. But instead of seeing suffering as some kind of punishment or a totally bad thing, Buddhism sees it as a chance for growth, wisdom, and compassion.
So maybe the challenges we face aren't actually stopping us from fulfilling our destiny, but they're a part of the journey.
Exactly. And when you understand the energy of your birthday, it can help you see what kinds of challenges you might naturally face on your path. Like we said before, someone with strong fire energy might struggle with intense emotions or acting impulsively, but instead of seeing those as just bad traits, you can see them as opportunities to master yourself, to learn how to use that fire energy in a positive and wise way. And someone with strong water energy might be super sensitive, which can be a chance for deep healing, developing empathy, and expressing creativity through their emotions.
So it's about shifting how we see those tough times.
Exactly. The key is to face those challenges with mindfulness, with compassion for yourself, and with the understanding that they can show you deeper truths about who you are and what you can do. We're not meant to avoid suffering completely, but to learn from it and grow because of it.
That's a really powerful and freeing perspective.
Yeah.
So how do we integrate this broader Buddhist wisdom into our everyday lives, beyond just understanding our birthday?
The Source makes a really beautiful point. Every little thing we do when we're mindful can shape our destiny. It's about being aware and intentional in our choices and interactions every day.
And it gives us some specific daily practices to help with that.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the basics is morning meditation, but with a focus on setting intentions that match your birth energy. Right when you wake up, before your mind gets busy with the day, take a moment to connect with that energy you were born with. Ask yourself, what can I do today to honor my true path, to use the strengths that come from my birth energy? Think about your main elemental influence. Does today call for action, for reflection, for connecting with others? Then set a clear intention for the day that's aligned with that energy. Maybe you want to be more present, more compassionate, or more courageous.
Starting the day with that kind of conscious connection seems really grounding and gives the day a sense of purpose. What's another practice we can try?
Mindful decision making. Before you react to something or make a choice, even a small one, pause for a second and ask yourself, does this feel right? Does it honor the energy of my birth? For example, if you have strong water energy, you might pause before agreeing to a task and ask yourself if there's any room for creativity or for connecting with your emotions in it. It's about bringing awareness to even the little choices we make and making sure they're in harmony with our true selves.
Bringing intention to everything, even the small stuff. What's the last daily practice?
Gratitude and reflection at the end of the day. Before you go to bed, take some quiet time to think about the choices you made. Did they match your intentions? Did you honor your birth energy? What went well? What could you do differently tomorrow? Feel grateful for what you learned, both the good and the challenging stuff. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did what I did reflect my true path? And what's one small step I can take tomorrow to honor my birth energy even more?
I love that. It's like a perfect way to end the day, creating this cycle of learning, growing, and being self-aware. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main message you want listeners to take away?
The core message is this. From a Buddhist perspective, your birth date is a huge deal. It carries this unique energy signature that gives you incredible insight into your potential, your path in life, and the lessons you're meant to learn. It's like a cosmic imprint that holds the keys to understanding yourself on a deeper level.
And it's not just about knowing this stuff in our heads, right? The real magic happens when we put it into practice.
Exactly. If you want to unlock your potential and live a life with more purpose and meaning, you got to go beyond just understanding the ideas. You got to actually engage with your birth energy. Be aware of it, align your life with your dharma, and take action consistently and intentionally. That's how you make the magic happen.
So to everyone listening, here's a final question to ponder. Think about your own birth date. What energies, fire, water, air, or earth, feel like they resonate the most with you? What's one small thing you can do today to honor that wisdom that's inside you, that unique cosmic imprint you came into this world with? Keep exploring this connection. It might help you understand yourself and your journey in a whole new way.